said, how are you doing today? How are you doing today? I am your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner, and today I have a very special guest with me. In our show, she's a producer, a writer, a comedian. She's a choreographer, spoken word artist. I mean, she mixes storytelling in a burlesque and erotic stand-up comedy, just an amazing non-traditional burlesque show way. She brings empowerment not only to women but also to men. You know what I'm saying? She just does everything. So without further ado, I want to bring on the most wonderful, amazing, talented Sugar Brown. Welcome to the platform.
Woo! Yeah.
How you doing today?
Hi. That was such an amazing introduction. Thank you.
You welcome. You know, I try to give my guests that greatness. So,
Yeah.
so I want to let the people get to know you a little bit. So, can you let the people know where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing as a child?
Oh, that's kind of deep, ain't it? We starting out deep. All right. So, or at least my situation is very deep.
Okay.
So let's see. I was born in Atlanta. Kind of grew up in Chicago. Moved back and forth between Atlanta and Chicago kind of my whole life. Moved to Houston, moved to Las Vegas, moved to Michigan. I lived in so many places. Um, I had a very unique upbringing. It gets really deep. I don't know if you want to
Okay.
get that deep.
Hey, let's get deep. Let's get deep. We here for you. I want the people to get to know Miss Sugar Brown.
I don't know.
You ain't got to let us know everything. Let us know a little bit.
Let's see. I've had a unique. You got to ask me something. I don't know what to say.
Okay.
It's been unique
Okay.
childhood
Did
as
you
I.
have both parents in the household?
Okay, so that's unique because I did, but they died when I was a child, kind of. Let me see. My mother died when I was 14, and my father died when I was 18.
Mm.
So yeah,
So
things got real
who
unique.
who raised you? Like,
Nobody.
so you basically you was raised yourself. You was there, like, was you in homes or something, or
Yeah, so the situation is unique because that's why I'm like, ooh, that's deep. It's unique because I come from an upper middle class family, but they died. So they weren't there physically, but there were things set in place financially
okay.
uh, for me. But what are finances to having, parents?
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I can understand that.
So growing up with like a place to live and a car and stuff like that, but absolutely no guidance,
Yeah, I got you.
is a very unique situation.
Yeah, but
So yeah, that's kind of.
hey, that's definitely a unique situation. Like you said, you already had things in play, but like you said, without their guidance, because I know I've done a lot of stuff as a kid now, and I'm like, if I didn't have no guidance back then, I'd be somewhere else in my life. So I definitely understand what you mean with that.
Yeah, yeah. They did a great job. Not to say, not I'm not tooting my horn like I'm amazing or whatever, but I'm just saying I had really great parents up until the first tragedy or whatever, and then my father had some really really bad issues, and then it took him out. So up until about 14, phenomenal parents, very smart, college educated, and um, to be college educated and to be upper middle class in the 70s was
Mhm.
very rare for
Yeah,
Black people. As I learned about Black culture and Black history and redlining and red zoning and all that stuff, the fact that we lived in a white neighborhood and had a house, and that was really rare. So,
mhm.
and they did the best that they could, trying to set things up, but also I was a child, so,
I
you
got
know.
you. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let me ask you this: in the beginning, when you first started, what got you into doing dancing and it got you into comedy?
Okay, so I always loved dance. Dance has always been like my number one thing since I was like 13. 14, 15, somewhere around there, 15. And I always wanted to be a dancer. It's such an interesting story. I tried to put together like a burlesque dance show without comedy, without poetry, without storytelling. And it failed so bad. Like I had a whole group of people. I taught the choreography. I did have a comedian host. I gave him what he was going to do. I had a singer. I had like 8 people in the crew because I'm actually kind of shy in real life. So I had the creative vision.
I can't tell.
I know, but I am actually. I have the creative vision, but like I didn't necessarily want to be the person who is in the forefront or the limelight. Okay. And it bombed. We were in Atlanta. It bombed so bad that this girl stormed my stage. She got up on my stage and was like, "This is horrible. I could do better than this." Now, see, when it happened, I was backstage because ain't nobody finna storm my stage when I paid for this. I will fight you. I will most definitely fight you. So it happened when I was changing clothes or whatever, and somebody else was on the stage. And this young woman was like, "This is horrible. I could do better." And then she started dancing and I came out and I was like, get up, move, stop the music. This is not bad. And so I went into this whole like thing of, because I had spent all my money on this production and it was going bad. So I understood what the audience was feeling. However, there's no excuse for disrespect. You can get up and leave. You can ask for a refund. You don't have to disrespect me. So I feel really bad at this time and I start to cry, which is so embarrassing in front of the audience.
Oh no, you cried in front of the audience?
I cried in front of the audience because I have been putting my all into it. But when I get uncomfortable and I do ridiculous things like crying, I start to tell jokes. And I started to tell some jokes like, look at me crying up here. I'm a little crybaby, little waterhead over here. You know, I thought I outgrew this. No, I didn't. I'm still here. And people started to laugh about all the things that I had to say about, and I kind of low-key roasted my own production because it was kind of trash. I was like, look, y'all ain't shit for this, but you ain't wrong, okay? You not wrong. The show is going shitty. Let's have a real moment. But they started to, laugh, and they started to be inspired. I told them how I drove Uber. I hate driving Uber, and how I drove Uber for like 3 weeks straight, nonstop, kick people out the car, get out. Ain't nobody been fired from Uber like me. I've been fired. Because don't try to control my radio. But and people are just so ungrateful. So I'm like, yo, I'm giving you a ride in my car. You get out. I've done anyway. I got fired from Uber, and I told the whole story, and that inspired some people, and they laughed, and they were like, you know what, just keep going, it's gonna be okay. Not everybody, but I would say about 80 to 90% of the people that were still there that I had that conversation with were very inspired, even after seeing such a shitty show.
What year was this?
Let me see. I don't know. It was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
About 10 years ago. And then since I was telling all the jokes, I come back. I had a great boyfriend at the time. Okay. And I turn on the TV and somebody's telling stories. And he's doing comedy and he's telling stories. And I said, I could do that. I'm funny. I have funny stories. And I called my boyfriend and I was like, you know what? I want to do a burlesque comedy show. And he laughed a little bit. And I'm like, well, do you think I could do it? And he was like, I think you could do anything. And that was amazing because if he would have said no, I would have probably tried to do something else. But But he was like, okay, so by the time I get home, I need you to have 5 jokes ready. On Friday, we going to the open mic. I'm putting your name down there. He really did the most to get my confidence for comedy up. Because I can dance or whatever, but I wasn't sure if I could do the comedy part. And it was amazing. I did amazing with the open mics and people. I think because I don't look like a typical comedian, people would want to roast me, which is great. Come roast me. I got so much to say about you.
I got so
Precious, looking like a Teletubby. Like, I got it. So, and I don't know if my boyfriend at the time knew that I was that quick-witted, because he had me sit right in the front and he had me go last. Out of all the comedians, and every single one of them, tried to roast me. And that was great because they didn't know that I was also a comedian. So I said, "Line them up, boom, let's put you down, boom."
Here we go, let's get it
all down. And it was such an amazing experience. And I was like, I could do this. I can definitely do this. And I always shout out that particular ex-boyfriend for doing that for me. And, I went over a lot of my material with him. He also set up, like, I didn't have a lot of friends at the time. So he got all his friends and a couple of his family members before I did the show to sit down, and I would do the show for them. And so I don't know. Shout out to him. I don't know if I would be doing it had I not had that great boyfriend of mine at the time.
Okay. And it seems like everybody go through that experience. Like me, I write and direct movies too. So like I did a big theater show where I brought out like 300 people, and all things was happening. And Tyler Perry, he went through it with his play. I think we go through that big thing and then we get way more successful, I think.
Yeah. So it's been pretty much up ever since. And
yes.
Kind of amazing. I didn't know it would go as far as it went.
So wow. Let's get into it then. So what is the Sugar Brown comedy experience, and what made you start that and just start going on a tour? I know you said your boyfriend and everything, so tell the people about that.
Okay, so the Sugar Brown experience is an extremely unique experience where I mix comedy, storytelling, poetry, interaction, and kinky sex stuff. So I'm for kinky folks, people who like to be a little bit alternative sexually, but I also like to inspire, so I try to put it together. But sometimes it's just sexy, sometimes it's just funny. It just depends on how I feel. But it's a very unique experience, especially for couples. They usually kind of reignite a fire that they hadn't had in a while, a lot of times. Or I just become an amazing memory for a lot of people who have their first date. There are a lot of people who ended up getting married after the show, and then coming back 2 years later and saying, "Hey, we met at the Sugar Brown show and now we're married." It's amazing. It's been how I've inspired people. The Black girl magic I can't really explain, because the way people feel when they leave, they feel like they can do anything, be anything, and like with a love type of situation, like whatever it is that they're going through, they feel like they can get through it. So whether they want to connect deeper to their partner, they do. If they want to connect deeper to themselves, I think I did my IMs in the show that you read. That really touched a lot of people, and some people are going through some things, and so they're like, okay, I'm gonna keep saying I am, and they were really inspired by that. I just love the messages that I get after the show when people reach out to me. And then some people are just in love with Sugar Brown. Shout out to y'all. Thank you. But I try to inspire people. It's a fun show. It's a sexy show. You got to be open-minded. Have a couple of drinks, hit a couple of blunts, whatever you got to do. you will be a part of the show.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to ask you too. So, like I done been to comedy shows before, even burlesque show. So what made you, I guess, incorporate having the audience participate? Because you people just be watching you sitting there, but you got people doing this, coming on stage, had a whole crowd dancing. What made you incorporate that into it?
Okay, that is a great question. No one has ever asked me that. That is a great question. The way that happened was, so, the show I gave in St. Louis is like the fourth type of show that I have. My original show talks about a story about how I first became a submissive to a dominant. And it was more about me than it was about everybody else. But it was still a funny and one of my best shows. Anyway, there's a portion of the show where I'm telling the story and I want to say pussy. But at the time, because sometimes I'm super prim and proper, I did not like to say the word. I like to hear the word, but I don't like to say it. So what I ended up doing was, the idea was, okay, what I'll do is I'll have somebody come up and they'll say it for me and they'll fill in the blank. So every time I got to say the P word, they're going to say it. And it ended up kind of unfolding naturally because there were some things that I simply didn't want to do. So like that. So I had two people have a competition on how sexy they could say the P word. And it ended up being hilarious. People thought it was so funny and so fun. And then as I'm telling the story, and it's a sexy story, has little threesomes and stuff like that, I decided, okay, I'm going to pull people up so I can reenact the story through dance, but also with them. So that's kind of how it unfolded.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me say this. So one thing that you say, I want you to touch on this. You say, do not bring your girl if you know she is jealous. Elaborate on that.
Oh my goodness. All right, because in Sugar Brown's house, we share.
Okay.
And we try to inspire. Some women are insecure. Some women are just extremely conservative and prude. And I don't know why you would come to a sexy burlesque show if you can't allow your partner to look at me. I'm not going home with nobody's man. 9 times out of 10, I don't even live in your city. However, some women have very much so challenged me, which you don't want to do because I'm naturally judgmental and an asshole. I'm a naturally judgmental, bossy asshole type person. It's just bad. But I don't like that. I like to be uplifting. It's very easy for me to roast people. I used to do it with my brother. We grown as hell, and that's the first thing we do when we see each other. So there was a woman who was like, oh, my man can't look at you. We got 16 years. I'm sexy too. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not your competition. I'm your sister. Second of all, if you think I could take your man that you've been with 16 years, y'all ain't got no real relationship.
Facts.
You ain't got nothing.
Facts.
And if I could take him, like, if you're that insecure that you think that I could take him for 16 years, then y'all shouldn't be here in the first place.
Facts.
You should get up and go.
Facts.
So y'all got something else to work on. And I'm pretty sure he probably is cheating with her. With her acting like that, I'm sure she go through the phone and everything. So I had to let her know. But also it's happened about 4 or 5 times where the women will try to challenge me, which is odd because you paid to see me. You literally paid me to do that. And, I do have the moment when I dance up on people because people like it. If I wouldn't do it if people didn't like it. So it's just odd. And so that's why I like to say nowadays, hey, just don't come. If If you're jealous, if you're insecure, if you got a rocky kind of relationship, you're not gonna make it.
Facts.
Not gonna make it.
Like, oh, what is she doing?
Right. You not gonna make it. And then, I've had several situations where, okay, you know how they say flight or fight?
Yeah.
You fight, fright, or freeze. In my situation, I'm a fighter. So if something goes down, I have the inclination to try to hit you. And there was this woman, it was in Richmond, Virginia, sold out show, 400 people. I have the conversation. Hey, if you don't want me over by your man, say that, because I won't come over there. I don't have a reason to be disrespectful. Y'all are paying me for this.
Exactly. Facts.
So she didn't say no, right? So I come on over to her man or whatever, because of course the men are so excited.
Yeah.
They look like they want me to come over there. So I go on over there because the man want me to come over there, and I'm dancing on him or whatever, and then the girl grabs me.
What?
Literally grabs me, like almost like I'm falling. Now my inclination is to hit her because I'm in danger.
Yes.
Right? But then she starts saying, "But I want you," and what is going on? What is going on, miss? And then she started trying to grab on me and stop the music. Stop the music. We need to have a conversation. What the hell? Because I wanted to react, but I am the star of a show and there's 400 people here. Is that the energy I really want to give? It would be a viral moment, but do I want to give that energy? That's number one. Number two was, am I really in danger, or am I just being seriously disrespected by someone who doesn't know how to handle what's happening right now? And so, especially when she was like saying, "Oh, I want you for myself," that made me feel sort of bad for her, even though that's disrespectful.
Facts.
You don't just grab a woman because you want her.
Facts.
And if you don't want me to come over there, say that.
Facts.
So I had to have a whole conversation. I need to look that up. It was on videotape too. I had to have a whole conversation in front of the audience. Now, if she didn't apologize, I was going to have her removed. And the people around me was so pissed at her because they were like, "Why would you disrespect her like that?" And it was almost like a whole big thing. I was like, "It's cool. It's cool. Did you mean to do that? All I'm asking for now is an apology, because that was wrong and rude. And had she not apologized, I would have kicked her out."
Get up out of here.
Yeah. But so that, I be in situations, and sometimes the women don't know how to act.
But I do love, like you said too, I love how you bring people like out of their shell. Like the show that I attended, you told mom, you like, "Come down here." You like, "Well, I'm finna come and get you." You know what I'm saying? And you and broke it down. You know what I'm saying? So I do love how you break people off their shell. So, but let me touched on this a little bit, because I love this as part of your show. You did the "I am." What makes you do those, affirmations? Because I can tell people like really love that and they really felt that. I felt it also, you know what I'm saying? So what made you start doing that?
So that the stories that I tell in that particular show are true. And I really did manifest so many things in my life. And I'm a law of attraction practitioner. So when you are manifesting, you definitely have to say "I ams." And I just thought, how great would it be? Okay, so I'm sorry, let me go back. There is a verse in the Bible. I don't know how religious you may be. My parents used to be very religious. And there's a verse in the Bible. The older I get, the more I understand things. But it says, "When two or more are gathered, I am present." So meaning that there is power in praying together, meditating together. That is a real thing. And so I was doing really well, and I wanted others to do well. because me manifesting what I manifested, which everything went to shit, but to say the least, but it's not unique. It was like, you just want to tell people, you can do this. You can have anything you want to have. You can go where you want to go. You can have as much money. You can love the way you want to love. You just have to keep believing in yourself. And I just love the idea of stirring up that energy, you know. And every time I do that, people always clap after that, because you could feel it when you're saying all these positive things about yourself. And all together, it just feels strong. So that's why I do it, because I want people to feel inspired.
Gotcha.
And I want them to feel, if not for a moment, I want them to feel what it feels like to be a millionaire, to be healthy and happy and healed and loved and enough and all the things that we are naturally, but the world tries to beat us down. But we're stronger than that. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so on your journey, you've been doing this for a while now. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
I would think there's so many challenges. Probably the one I'm going through now, which is when you become an artist for a living, a little bit of the passion goes away and a little bit of the authenticity goes away, at least in my experience, because now you have to do this for money.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
People have to like you.
Yes.
When I first started, it wasn't about that. It was about self-expression. And it was probably the most authentic that I could make it, because there wasn't pressure on me to make money doing it, right? So now it's kind of morphed into so many different things. And like, people think that I'm only for couples, which I'm not. And I've been boxed in a little bit. I've been boxed in, and it's hard for me to figure out my creative identity at this time, because this is what I do for a living.
Gotcha.
And then
going through the motions.
yeah, it's challenging. And then also figuring out where I belong.
Gotcha.
So I'm a comedian, I'm a spoken word artist, I'm a dancer, I'm so many things. But like, even with theaters and stuff like that, they don't understand what lane I'm in and where I belong.
Gotcha.
So it's been challenging working with venues, comedy theaters, other comedians. All of that has been very challenging for me. So yeah,
I got you.
Trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. Yeah.
That was a great answer. Great answer. So, on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
Oh my gosh, this has been amazing. I have so much gratitude for where Sugar Brown has taken me. I've grossed 7 figures being Sugar Brown. People pay me to listen to my thoughts and watch me move. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, that I can turn my pain and my passion into a profit. I have been able to, it's two things that are amazing accomplishments. And I never look at that, because I'm always like trying to get to the next step. I never look back at what I've done. But there are very few creative artists that have been able to live a very lavish lifestyle off of their art. by themselves. There's nobody, I typically don't have too many people working with me.
Mhm.
And it's really just been me and God kind of pushing forward. So, when I have shows of 400 and 500 people, pay anywhere between $35 and $99. I'm just, it's, I don't think that'll ever get old to me.
Mhm.
I appreciate every single person who has ever bought a ticket, every single person that has ever said a kind word, not even just about me, people who tell me their stories about what happened after the show and
Mhm.
how they connected better to their partner or their friend or themselves and what they manifested. I just feel like um, I'm in a really unique season because I used to have audiences of just 50 people, 100 people, or whatever. And now it's so big, but it's like more money, more problems.
Yeah.
And I'm at a different level, and I'm not famous, which is challenging also because there are people who see me as a celebrity and who are in love with me. Not me, but like Sugar Brown. And that experience with some fandom is strange because I don't feel like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think honestly, just being able to do this for a living, being able to buy a house that I loved, travel the world, I think the accomplishment is the accomplishment of being able to do this for a living.
I
I
love
work
it.
when I want to work. I put on shows when I want to put on a show. I have a month off until the next show. The freedom that I've been able to create and generate. I complain about a lot of stuff, and I want to take a hiatus of 8 months, right?
Mhm.
Even if I'm not financially able to take that hiatus, I have a career that I made, and I'm just grateful for that.
I love that answer. I'm gonna have to take that. The accomplishment is the accomplishment. Woo! Great, that was amazing. Drop some jewels on, yeah. So let me ask you this, Miss Sugar Brown, because you took something, uh, you turned nothing into something. What advice would you give someone who's trying to, do what you do, get in the industry, or have these creative thought process over what they want to do in life? What advice would you give to those people?
All right, so the advice that I would give, I'd say a couple of things. I have a couple of philosophies that I live by or try to live by. The very first thing is be true to yourself creatively. Have no regard for the audience. The reason why I say that is because when you're first starting and you're creating and it's a passion, you want to be authentic as possible. And so when you can be as authentic as you are, your audience is going to find you. You don't have to go out there and say, well, I want to be like this or I want to be like that. Be you, and people will like you for exactly what you create and exactly who you are. And you're going to need that later on when the money comes, because then you're going to be like, oh, I need to do this for them, make them happy.
Yeah,
But don't lose your identity because your art will suffer. So that's number one. Have no regard for the audience. Do it for you, and the audience will find you.
facts.
My second thing is own your craft. Like hone it, practice, get good at it, get confident at it. Be intentional about what you're creating and what you're doing. Even if nobody sees it, even if you're in a room and it's one or two people, give the best that you have for one or two people. Not even just for them, but for you. Your work ethic has to show, because that will show when you're tired and you got a show of 300 people and you don't want to do it. you have practiced what it is to give 100% when you don't want to give it. So when there's only one or two people, thank those one or two people. It'll grow, it'll come. The third thing is have a higher power. Have something to believe in, please, because we're not here by ourselves.
Right.
We are vessels.
Right.
And then the fourth thing is never give up. I know that's cliche, but it's true. Everything you want will come to you. Sometimes it'll look like it's not coming, but my whole story is I failed doing something and then I found something way better than that.
Yeah.
And had that show not gone to shit like it did, Sugar Brown wouldn't exist.
That's how it happened. Hey, listen, she dropped a juke. Hey, something happened like that to me. Something that looked like it was a failure turned out to be something great. So, like you said, never give up. So,
yes.
Sugar Brown dropping jewels on us today, yeah, definitely. So, do you have anything else coming up that you want to promote?
Yes, I have so many things coming up. So I have a getaway. I've always wanted to do getaways. I love luxury. I love obviously sex. I'm a sex fiend. Um, and I love just luxury. So I put together an erotic escape. We're going to Jamaica. I'm renting out villas.
Okay.
So we're starting with one villa, and hopefully people will get their deposit in, and then it'll grow to maybe two or three. So I will take up to 30 people, but minimum about 10 people, couples. It's a 4-night, 5-day getaway, all inclusive in Jamaica, luxury, amazing time. Don't come if your girl is jealous.
Yeah, I
We
heard that. Don't
sharing.
cover up your girl is jealous. I heard that.
We sharing in the space. We sharing. Um, so that is going to be in June. However, people need to get their deposit in by the end of the month. Let's see. I have a New Year's Eve show in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Let's see. I have a show in Seattle, December 21st. Let me just say the cities. So I have Arlington, Texas, Seattle, Los Angeles, Tampa, Oklahoma City, Richmond, Baltimore, and Virginia Beach.
Mhm.
Those are supposed to be my last couple of shows before I take a hiatus and just get back to me, and then I'll come back even better.
Okay, listen, if y'all are in those cities, man, make sure y'all go out there. So, Sugar Brown, tell them why should they come out to the Sugar Brown Comedy Experience?
Okay, y'all should come out to the Sugar Brown Comedy Experience because you are going to have the time of your life. It's going to be something like you've never experienced. You're going to learn some things. You're going to be able to take things back with you home and practice them on your partner or practice them on yourself. It'll be phenomenal time. It's unique. People usually leave feeling very happy and inspired and sexy and good. So if you want to feel good, I'm the remedy.
Okay, okay. So let the people know where can they find you? How can they get in contact with you? How can they look up these tickets? Everything.
Yeah, so you can find me at I am the real Sugar Brown or Sugar Brown Comedy on Facebook. Sugar Brown everything. You'll see me in my hair and all that. So you can follow me anywhere. You can send me a message. I respond to almost everything. No dick pics, please. Uh, that does happen. Oh, she responds. Let me show her a picture of my
Hold on,
junk.
hold on. You like this, baby? No.
Yeah, that really be happening. So let me go ahead and just say that. No dick pics, please. Um, you can get tickets at sugarbrowneevents.com. And I have a discount code, which is Capricorn season. I'm a Capricorn. Hey.
Should have been a Sagittarius.
And
Should have been a Sagittarius, but it's all
ah.
good.
Well, are we still in Scorpio season?
Yeah, yes.
Somebody was calling.
That's all
But
good.
yeah,
We still in Scorpio season. So my last question, that I love to ask all my guests.
Yes.
When it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Sugar Brown?
Oh my goodness, that is a deep question, sir. You have really phenomenal questions.
Thank you.
I am very impressed.
Thank you.
I would want people to know that I inspired love and happiness and creativity, and that my legacy would be the people that I helped through my art and my creativity. And I would hope that that would continue. In addition to people wanting to do, I would hope that young Black women who want to perform are inspired by my story. Or young Black women who are entrepreneurs are inspired by my story. I want my legacy to be an inspiration for other people to be amazing.
I love that. Drop the mic. But now, thank you, Sugar Brown. I appreciate you for this interview. You know, like I said, me experiencing you like a wonderful, amazing. I loved your show. I loved your energy, and we need more people like you, period. So I appreciate you giving me this interview.
Yes, thank you so much. You were amazing. Happy birthday coming up, Sagittarius.
Let's get it. And I'm gonna definitely let you know when I drop this interview. It might be in a week or so. The article in the newspaper and everything.
Yes, I would love to share it.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have the rest of a good day. Go ahead and get back to your life. And y'all make sure y'all go out and see the Sugar Brown Company experience. You're gonna love it.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.